Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we're looking at the most recent chapter 172 of Nanatsu no Taizai. Before we get into that lovely chapter that is Nanatsu no Taizai, which I must say, the last quite a few chapters have been amazing. I know I keep harping on about the amazingness that is One Piece, but Seven Deadly Sins is not far behind. It has been epic for the last few chapters. No faults whatsoever. I really enjoyed it. But before getting into that, just to give you a bit of an update of my channel of things that may or may not be missing. Normally, Sunday is a day for anime. I haven't really been up to date much with the One Piece. Obviously, being a manga reader, I know what's going on, but I haven't been really reviewing the episodes. I was planning to catch up yesterday, but due to unforeseen circumstances with my car deciding to die quite far from home, had some issues basically that needed resolving, and that took up a lot of my Sunday. And as you know, Mondays is Nanatsu no Taizai and Fairy Tail Day. So to give you an update, Tuesday I normally do Black Clover. I have to still do the Boku no Hero Academia episode 3 review. I also need to look at seeing if I can fit any more in tomorrow and Wednesday, bearing in mind I still need to watch episode 1 and review that of Game of Thrones, which hit last night and today in the UK. So busy few days, and hopefully we'll start getting back up to scratch. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this review. So to start off, I love this chapter. 10 out of 10, no problems whatsoever. I want to say Meliodas is a terrifying son bitch. He is terrifying, he's scary, and I'm good he's on the good side. I'm good he's on the good side. I'm glad he's on the good side, is what I should say. See, we don't edit here. We don't edit here. We just go straight rolling, right? There's too many of these people editing and making themselves out to be some perfect pronunciation and everything else. No, that's not how we roll. We make mistakes. We get past them. Anyway, ramble aside. So, he's a beast. Essentially, this chapter is really shows you that he's a beast. But there's a lot of intricacy, little details in that makes you wonder. But we'll get into that now. So in review, brilliant chapter, no mistakes, everything brilliant. Now, a few things to bear in mind that I enjoyed that made me think in this chapter. So number 1, Gloxina, Dolor and Meliodas were once friends. We know this because how much is it Zeldris is the younger brother, I believe his name is, how much of a big deal he makes out of his older brother and hearing his guts. The oldest brother, Meliodas being the second, or like the middle child, doesn't seem too bothered. He's nonchalant about the whole thing, but there's definitely some deep-rooted connection between them all, and it looks like they fought, according to this chapter, they fought together against the Demon King. Now the fact that they mentioned the Demon King at least more than once now, for me, is foreshadow to his resurrection. I believe that he will reappear at some point. I think that's really important to find out the backstory of Meliodas. I know we're probably going to get more when we revisit his brothers, but I find that interesting that they were friends again. Now one thing that he specifically mentions, and he says, well, there's no turning back when you went that way. When he went that way, he was probably referring to like the darkness or evil or something like that, surrendering your soul to the devil, so to speak, kind of really being bad. Because that was something that he's really stuck on. Because they asked him, because let's be honest, being that we've all been what we've been through, will you kill us? And he says, yes, I will be killing you. And that showed. Gloxina's basically tried goading him a lot in this, or goading him, I guess. She did get him with the first form attack, and that did push him back with nobody else to help him. A lot of people were worried, but he did pull through. It's interesting because they mentioned the motivations of some of the 10 commandments. With Gloxina, it says, you were betrayed by people that you trusted the most. And with Dolor, said his pride was to become the strongest, and his pride was trampled on. So there's definitely motivations there that we'll get to see more of them. I don't remember reading anything about the ones before, like Galan, for example, the one about the oaths and not lying and not going back on your oaths. I can't remember his, but I found that interesting that they mentioned that. I think there will be, like Meliodas has with the 7 deadly sins, there's going to be pairings that he's connected to in different ways. Like for example with Merlin, according to the Q&A section on the side, he's known her the longest. And for example with Ban. Ban considers him his best friend. And then you've got Gothel who follows him, but then you've got Diana who respects him. So they've got quite interesting dynamics, and I'm imagining that's going to be the same kind of thing with the Ten Commandments. Now here's another point that I want to talk about, because let's be honest, even though initially it looked like he was struggling a little bit, once he got going and once his tattoos started expanding, he wiped the floor with them. He dealt with Gloxina, that punch put her away, and just when it looked like Dolor was actually going to do something, when it panned back to him and Gilfrost was talking about these 10 commandments, he was terrified of the prospect of Meliodas, being that he handed them their asses very easily. So how powerful do you reckon these people were power wise compared to Galan? Because Galan so far had like a power level of 44,000, and he got scared of Escanor's power at 50,000. Now bearing in mind the attack that Escanor hit them with was not his full power, it was like a Fork's power. He kind of more of placebo, I guess, that he hit them with, and that was about, I think, was it about 35 or 32,000? So comparable to when Meliodas was read at 32,000. So it's interesting to note these kind of figures, because I honestly think that before his tattoo kind of appeared on his face, his power, Meliodas' power, was probably about 32,000. It's probably closer to 50 or 70 when the tattoo expands. As we noticed originally, I believe his power, I'm gonna get this up actually, Meliodas' power was 3370, maybe a little bit less, but it did expand to over 4,500 or thereabouts when he got enraged. So I can imagine his power increases at least by 50%, which would at least have him around about 50,000 at least. I could be wrong, the jump could be a lot more now. So the idea of power is interesting. Who do you think is the strongest 7 deadly sin now? It's a bit bizarre that the other ones are not as strong. So for example, when you look at the power levels recorded so far, bearing in mind this is based on the wiki here and this could be dated, Galfo's power is at 3100, Diana's power is at 3250, Merlin's power is at 4710. Let's see if I can find Ban's at 3220. So when you look at Gothor and you look at all these other people and you compare them to the likes of Escanor and Meliodas, they're in a different league. It kind of makes me feel that something's gonna happen that gets them in that same league, because they're meant to be the 7 deadly sins. It's not Escanor and Meliodas and his boys, is it? It's the 7 deadly sins. So you know what I mean. It's like imagine the Jackson 5. It's not Michael Jackson and the Jackson 4. It was the Jackson 5, right? Similar kind of concept. Well, probably not as relevant because they weren't singing, but there's got to be something that bridges that gap strength-wise, and I can imagine there have to have something there, because they can't rely on Meliodas the whole time. I know he's a captain and he's one of the strongest, but there's got to be something else that helps him kind of move forward. Also, an interesting point when earlier on in the story, before it was completely caught up, when you were watching the fights between Gilthunder and Meliodas, Gilthunder's previous power, although this is slightly irrelevant, was 2330. I know it's gone up. No, sorry, it was 1970, and Meliodas was 3300. So realistically, even though it looked like he was struggling, he was actually just holding him back and letting him win. I just found that interesting. I thought I'd mention it. But in any case, a relatively simple chapter. Meliodas is the boss. He's the captain for the 7 deadly sins for a reason. Was he the captain of the 10 commandments at one point? And will we be seeing the Demon King very soon? That's just my thoughts. We're in the second, as far as I know, we're in the second major chunk of the overall story. So I guess once this major arc goes, which I'm probably going to be the next 30-40 chapters, we may see the Demon King in saga number 3. But that's all for me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed my review. Hope you enjoyed my little speculation and 1,000,001 mistakes I tend to make in my videos. But I like to show you that I am human. I will make mistakes. You can tease me as much as you like in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the chapter, if you think Meliodas is a badass, give me a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. I'm on 51 subscribers. I'd like to get to 100 by the end of June. and I really like your support. Let's build a community here together, guys. Let's build that conversation, and let's really get talking about these anime and manga. But as always, take it easy. I'll see you next time. Peace.